Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Road to Diamond on Colonist.io 1v1. On today's board, we are the first pick for the first time in a while. And what I'm already looking at here is it's not a super easy board for us to pick. I think we should be able to get an ore and a sheep on the way back. Now the 9 versus the 4, I don't know if I'm as anxious about getting one versus the other, but this 6-5-9 spot is immediately pretty enticing. Gets us on a good wood, good brick, good wheat. And then we just need to supplement that. So I think we're going to go with 6-5-9 to the right, either pointing down to the 3-1 or even trying to get over to the 5-8-10 if our opponent doesn't take it first. But this is kind of an interesting board. It poses some questions. I think our opponent is likely to go something like 8-4-3 and 5-8-10 is what I would probably do if I were them in this position. At which point, we might go with the 6-4-9. Now, I didn't see the 5-8-10 as an option. Which makes me more inclined to go with this, like, 9-4-11 to share the best ore and then get down to this and maybe even build over this way. I mean, that's a good spot. I almost worry that we left them with too much, but we're going to go for it. We're going to go right there. Get our first roll, and see what happens. Now, this is a pretty critical spot for us to get to. We might want to try and build up to this 6-3-11 if we can, and then over to the 3-4-11. And our opponent's probably going to build down into this 8-4-3 as one of their first settle spots. 7 is not ideal, but that's okay. And I'm kind of waiting for a second sheep to roll before I buy a dev, because I want to have flexibility in our hand. Now with an 8, we do have coordinated rolls. So the first idea I have is going over, but I don't think they'll be able to steal these two spots in time. So maybe we just go down towards the port, and we'll hold. And if we get a 9... Ooh, they do take the 3-10-11. Alright, so we do need to probably use something in our hand. So let's dev once, we get a victory point. And let's dev again. And 2 victory points. So not the most ideal start. I think we're still looking for a 9. I think we got 1 right off the start. Let's block their best wheat source, and we'll pass. And we really need a 6 to roll here, which shouldn't be hard. We shouldn't have to beg for a 6 to roll. All right, there we get it. Now, there's no way for them to take it from us. But a 3-for-1 is nice. Let's hold 1 turn. And maybe it'll bite me in the butt. Maybe it won't. I think here we're going to go ahead and snag it. And our opponent gets a second ore touch. 7 comes out, and we're going to get the first block of the game. Can we get a 9? We can't, but we do get this. And let's block. Let's continue to block their best wheat. And here, let's dev once. We get a road builder, which is pretty big. All right. We're almost to somewhere, but we're going to hold 1 more turn. And I'm looking for a wood or a sheep, because then that makes our road builder much stronger, and we don't have to worry about just getting plowed to a spot. almost tempted to try and maybe take this 3-4, or going up and going 2-9-10, and then building over towards this wheat port. What our opponent's thinking. And it looks like almost like they ran out of time. So how do we want to do this? I think doubling our best ore is a good idea. So let's grab a sheep, because we don't make great sheep anyways. We're going to road builder up, and I think we take this 10-9-2. Get better ore, and now it becomes a little bit more difficult to block us. The 7 comes out. So maybe we should have considered dropping our road here to the 4-5-8. A little bit of a misplay on our hand, but all right. And I think we still block the 10. Let's drop this down. And we do have to be a little bit careful here, is we don't want to completely stagnate our hand and just be stuck looking for our settle. So if we drop this down, our opponent knows that we're settled out. We have all 5 on the board. So that's going to be kind of the tricky spot here. Here, I don't want them to take our ore, so let's dev once we do get a knight. And the sheep was not a good steal for us. So we're going to go right back on the 10. Let's block the 8, I suppose. The 2. 8 block works. Can we get the sheep? We can't. But we can port down. We could grab a city, or we could grab our spot here. Now, I don't love porting down 4 ore for that. I don't mind porting down, well, actually that doesn't allow us to do anything either. So let's maybe port down. Let's grab the city. And let's strengthen our sheep a little bit. And our ore. So now it feels to me like the 9 block becomes a bigger play for our opponent. The sheep comes in. And our opponent has had some rolls, so I'm actually going to, I know that we have decent production on them, but I am going to port down and grab this settle from a production standpoint primarily. And we'll pass. The 3 is a big roll for our opponent. So where are they going? Now I think one of our next ideas might be to try and go up to this 5-2. Let's dev once, since we have it, another road builder. And our opponent is chunking up pretty well. And they're showing that they want to build down. Let's block their wheat. We need a wood roll. That'll work too. And I think here let's solve some of our sheep problem. So we're going to do this. We're going to use our road builder. Extend our road up 2 more. Grab that spot. Because we do have our port. And for our connect, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Our opponent's going towards the ore port. So now that 4 might become a block. And we're almost on to our second city. Still almost there. And now of note, our opponent is settled out. Alright, the 10 rolls. Let's port that down for an ore. Place on the 4-5-8. And call her good. Huge roll. We have another city in hand. Probably the 6-5-9 comes next. I see no reason not to city. And our opponent 7's out. Pretty big 7. We are, if we can grab army, it's to our benefit. Now I think they're going to block the 9, which I don't think is the correct play. We get a 9. Another 9. They're going to get to 2 for 1 that. Or they city just immediately. Oh my gosh, and 4 sheep. So what we could do is I almost think that we go into the dev deck. Let's dev twice. We get a knight and a victory point. So if we can pull one more knight, we have win in hand. And it's going to be pretty tough to stop us. What's our opponent going to do? They're also going for the dev deck. Let's use our knight. Let's unblock ourselves. We'll block the 4. Another big roll. Do we have win in hand? We do have a city. We'll plop that on the 5-2. And we pull off another victory. So we get 15 points for that one. We actually, it looks like we may have platinum too. I can't really tell. But if we look at the dice stats, the 4 overrolled, which did help us with this sheep. Otherwise, fairly consistent dice. Resource card stats, dev card stats. We pulled 3 VPs, which, I mean, in the beginning of the game is definitely not ideal, but it ended up being okay. We did get both road builders, which greatly helped us, especially since our opponent had a pretty clear road building advantage. Activity stats. We blocked a lot more than our opponent. And then finally, resource card stats. They lost a few more resources than us, but we pretty greatly outproduced them. We won in 69 turns today. So thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for all the support in the series. If you have comments on how I played, leave it on down below in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. And then finally, look below. Make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. And that just helps you to make sure that you don't miss any of my future content. And I will see you guys on the next episode.